everybody. I'm getting closer to the mic now.
Yay!
Oh, mysterious voices. We haven't introduced ourselves. Ooh, I'm the ghost of Christmas when you were a kid and life was good. Ooh, okay. Anyway, my name is Charlie, and this is the third episode of the Outright On Air podcast. My pronouns for this evening will be she, her. And tonight's topic is LGBT media. So as we introduce ourselves, we're also going to talk about where we are in the big old gay spectrum. So I am a gender fluid gay male, and I am joined with two lovely panelists.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm queer, but my pronouns are she, her.
And I'm Kim, also she, her, and I tend to consider myself bisexual, but a lot of times I'll just say queer.
Well, it sounds good. So before we get into our interview tonight with our special guest, who is totally in the room, has definitely not left yet, we're going to be talking about some of the upcoming events. So this episode should go live on the 2nd of July, which is exciting. That's the future.
Well, we will have youth group on the 10th from 6 to 8. So that's not this coming Monday, but the Monday after.
Terrific.
Yes, and yes, it is 13 to 23. So we would love to have you guys there.
Oh, Jesus. So, I think that piece of paper I threw around earlier, I thought it was a spider. I felt something touch my hand.
I thought you dabbed. I was like, what is happening?
I thought you had peed yourself.
Oh my gosh.
I invited you into my home, technically. I mean, never mind. Yeah, Holly, please continue.
And then on the 12th, we have youth drop-in from 3 to 6, so that's Wednesday. And we also have...
What is a youth drop-in?
It's just 3 hours that we have that the youth can come in and just hang out. So it's really unstructured. Mm-hmm. So they'll just come in and sometimes we play the Wii, sometimes we just talk. So it really just depends on what they're feeling. Today, I took a nap.
Oh,
And then we researched about gender-neutral bathrooms that they can go to in Hickory, which basically resorted to us finding family restrooms because there are no actual gender-neutral bathrooms. So it's a little disappointing, but for now, that's what we're going to have to do.
Right.
So
this is my shocked face.
You can't...
It looks no different from my regular
face.
Right,
exactly.
Yeah, no. To the viewers at home, Kim looks beautiful, but unfazed.
I think we all expected bad news, but...
Who are like, Hickory isn't accommodating? Gasp! The horror!
I love how you emphasize the gay in gasp.
Oh, what?
Gaius.
I know, that's my sweet southern belle. Oh, Lord, a gentleman caller. Oh, jeez.
Slightly lift skirt.
Oh, well, I wasn't going to say that, but Holly, apparently, this is the exposed...
If she hadn't, I was going to.
Yeah.
You like to bare your ankles.
First of all, I have a tattoo there. I paid money for that.
It's a beautiful cat.
That's not a... We're moving on. I hate this family.
I'm your disappointed mother.
Oh, wait. Oh, girl, your phone. You're about to slip and die.
Well, that's...
What? Oh, gosh.
And then on the 13th, we have Youth Trans Group.
That's exciting. So is that the events? That's the next 2 weeks, right? So you guys should be caught up.
Yes.
Now, before we get into, like I said, tonight's episode is going to be about queer representation in media, modern day, beforehand. We're just gonna hit everything because we don't really know what we're doing, not just on the show, but just in general. So we're gonna have our guest on.
Life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, as a point of note, the section of interview that we are about to air was recorded previously so that our guest could get back to doing what she does. So you may hear some pronouns that do not match with what Charlie has said previously. She used him.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm gender fluid, so I typically don't care. But
so that's the whole thing.
Right.
For people who are listening, we want them to know that there was respect to pronouns there because of how you were presented like an hour ago.
Yeah. That wasn't an hour ago. That was like 15 minutes ago. You're like, back in the days of the pyramid, we interviewed Beverly.
You're very, very fluid. Like water coming out of the tap.
Oh, I was thinking more like liquor, but okay.
Right, works for me.
Honey, it doesn't for me real quick. All right, anyway. So here, we're going to pretend like Beverly is still in this room, this presence. Okay, so we're just going to... So you're about to hear Past Charlie. Okay, Past Charlie, I give it to you. So I am joined here by our special guest for the evening. Would you please introduce yourself for us?
I'm Bev Austin-Biser.
Yes, and what pronouns do you use, if I may ask?
She, her.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it is my understanding that you have an art show starting soon, is that right?
Yes, I'm an abstract artist. I am fortunate and honored enough to be asked to have a show at the Salt Block, United Arts Council West Wing. So it's on, when you look at the Salt Block, it's to the left, and they feature local artists. Mm-hmm. Very good.
Now, I'm new to the Hickory area, so the only Salt Block I know of is in fancy restaurants.
Oh.
So is that...
That's a salt shaker.
Yes.
Well, I don't know words.
The Salt Block is located there with the Catawba Science Center.
Okay.
Hickory Museum of Art.
That's the Salt Block.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the Museum of Art is separate from all of this, but the United Arts Council is for local artists. It's very, very cool to be honored to be asked.
So if you wouldn't mind, just real quick, telling us a little bit about yourself.
What I do is abstract art.
Mm-hmm.
The name of my studio is Studio Bev. Mm-hmm. I have a studio downtown Hickory, and it's very close to the Salt Block, actually. I do a lot of commission work. That's what I prefer to do.
Right.
In other words, I would have a client into my studio, and we'd sit and talk about what they like. I have several choices of paintings on the wall of styles that they like. And then we meet at their home. I pick a color palette out of their home, like their blue couch, their brown walls, whatever, and who they are emotionally, physically, intellectually. That all determines some of that and goes into the painting. So
that's really interesting. Yeah. Now, so you are an artist in the gay community.
Yes.
So I think what's really cool about seeing a woman like you, from my perspective, because I do art in my spare time, but seeing someone who can take art and really, turn it into something that's profitable.
Yes.
I mean, because it's something that I'm assuming you're very passionate about.
It's actually a second career for me. I did dental hygiene for years and years. Retired about a year and a half ago. I've been doing art kind of on the side for a long time, and really concentrating on it over the last year. And this is then actually, it's funny you say, because the name of my show is Second Kiss. And what that means is, it means a lot, but Second Kiss, if you know a little bit about photography, if a photographer goes to take a picture of the sunset, there's that little slip that goes over the horizon and you don't see anything. You think the sunset's over.
Right.
And all of a sudden you get this warm, beautiful red glow underneath the clouds. It's a second kiss of a sunset. So this is my second kiss.
Right.
It's kind of a new career for me, and I'm loving it.
That was beautiful. Like, you reached into my heart and spoke my truth. I don't know.
Charlie's tearing up in here.
Not with this mascara. This is cheap, okay?
Run.
I'm gonna come out of this building with streaks down my face, being like, I was beautiful once.
Rock the raccoon.
Trust me, I am. That's me fresh done. I look like a mess. Fresh done,
I wish you could see him.
Oh, tell the viewers at home what I look like, Kim.
I mean, imagine perfection and then put a bow on top.
Oh, there you go.
That strangely wasn't enough for me.
Okay, sprinkle some sugar on it.
What are you saying? I have a very feminine figure. Thank you.
That's why you have to add the sugar.
Oh, baby. I'm not eye candy. I'm soul food, and I know it. Okay, back to Beverly. I'm sorry.
We digress.
You just took me away. The muses took me, gave me those gifts you have just received. So, tell me a little bit about your art show. What are the dates?
Well, the show starts July 10th. I take all of I've got, all I've been working on. And typically, I wouldn't have this much inventory, but because they need this many paintings to fill the space, I've been working on it for a while, for a couple of months now, and I've been painting madly painting. And it goes up July 10th. It will run for 3 months. It'll hang, and then on August 24th, I think it is, on between 5 and 7, which is free and open to the public, we'll have a reception. And at that time, if you will give me a little bit of space here after July 10th and come over and see the show. Leave your name and email address and phone number at the front desk. I'm going to do a drawing the night of the reception and give away a painting.
Oh my gosh!
And and a free consultation. So.
Oh my gosh, that's like a lot. Like,
it's going to be cool.
You giving away cake to the homeless
I'm going to give away a really nice painting, and all you have to do is show up and say that you saw the show. It's great.
Well, I'm hoping that I know I personally want to make it, but you know what might be cool? Like we might be able to go like as Outright on Air and be like, here we are live at the gala.
That's great. I'm actually I have a painting here at the center, and I'm going to put that on loan from the center to the show, so it will be hanging at the show. It will for a while.
I mean, from what I've seen of your work, it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do like it. Do you have an online presence?
I do. It's studiobev.com.
Okay.
So www.studiobev.com, and you can kind of check out. I have some samples on there. I don't want to. I started to put all of my paintings on there in a gallery, online gallery,
right.
And then I drew back and I thought, if I do that, then they won't need to go to the show. So I didn't do that.
There's definitely something to be gained from art, seeing it in purpose, particularly with the way that you use brush strokes.
Oh yeah.
There's so much texture to your art that
and it's funny because I don't. I use a brush some, but I don't use a brush as much as you would think. I use these spatulas that they would use for putting tile on the wall.
Yeah.
You know, like fill in the grout, or metal to push cement through a trowel, and that's what I use mostly. I've been working on, and people don't realize, abstract art has lots of different textures, like you say. Some of it's real buttery, and some of it's very fluid, and I push that fluid when it hits the canvas. It will move through, and I push it through with that trowel, and I have an idea in my head what I want to do and what I want to accomplish. Sometimes that I won't always get there.
Right.
Sometimes it turns into something else, and that's okay. You know, abstract, you have to, and this is what I've also tried to teach myself, is go with the flow. You have to really let it come from within. Right. And don't hold it back. If you try to control it, it's not going to work. Another thing we did here at the center, actually, we did a couple of classes in alcohol inks. And that was fun. Just tiles from Lowe's, and use this alcohol ink product. Yeah. And we made several. In fact, I don't know if I have any around here or not. I think so. But
I know I have seen them previously. So.
But they were. It was a lot of fun that night. And when you try to control, you can see who the control freaks are, because they can't do it, and they have to do it over, and then they have to do it over. So. Well, it is fun.
I think that's so great that you had like basically volunteers coming in to help paint with you. Which I think tonight our topic is media and the queer people in that media, and that wasn't the best way to phrase that, but we're
the queer people in that media,
the gays, but I think
LGBTQ. Yes.
I think art is such a powerful force. It's really almost got its own spirit, and it's so emotional and
express yourself. Really.
I think
it comes from within.
I think it's so important that we as a community, because we're in, times where I think we have a lot to say, we have a lot to express, and, we go through a lot more than probably the average bear.
Well, particularly in an area like this where, because there's such a conservative leaning, it has a tendency to make it even more difficult for people who are LGBTQ to be out and proud about that.
Right.
Because there's a certain amount of fear associated with it, and then a certain amount of just that shame that gets put into kids, and that's one of the reasons why representation is so, so, so important.
We are not San Francisco, are we?
Sadly, no.
I know. We try, though. We are trying, and the center is one of those things that I think that is trying to help the kids.
Yeah. We have some great bastions of virtue for people. But
yes, I'm not a bastion of virtue, but I am kind of pretty in my life, so I've got that going.
You're beautiful.
Jeez, I don't know about that. Let alone me. Oh, but
are you French?
We made a joke earlier. I can't repeat that, Beverly. You trying to get me in trouble at the center? Kick me out. She wants this seat. I know what she wants. But I think it's so cool seeing a woman like you, and you went with a career for a while, and was that something you were happy doing?
I was. Dental hygiene, I liked communicating with my patient more, and education. I was an educator more than anything, and people got it.
Right.
If you get it and someone educates you, you don't run away from it. You kind of hold on to it and it's yours. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed that part of it. It helped me feed my 2 children.
Right.
And now that part's done, I can kind of concentrate on myself a little bit and allowing that expression to come through.
Well, not only are you, you're living testament that you can do something you're passionate about, such as art, because I feel like a lot of kids really doubt themselves. Because I know there's a lot of insecurity in the gay community, and I think it's important to see someone like you who not only are you doing art, something you love doing, something that you're also making a living off of, right. But it wasn't something that you were doing at first. You said, I think it's a great testament to the fact that no matter where we're at in life, it's never too late to pick up something new. It's never too late to try something, and
it's never too late to be the person that you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Every day.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that it's not so much important whether you succeed or fail, but if you just try is what I think that, like I said, seeing you is really, a testament to what the gay community can be and, the power that art has.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I've come across a lot of the kids here and adults too are very artistic. It's amazing. It really is. I never thought, wow, there's really artists out there. There really are. A lot of really good ones.
Well, we do all love our rainbows.
Yeah, I know. I own a glitter or 2 at home.
Only 2. I have a palette.
She got money. Okay.
She got money for it?
What did I tell you about this cheap mascara? Okay.
Hey, I lucked out. When Walmart has all of their stuff after Christmas for like 75% off?
No.
Yes.
Okay, I was trying to throw.
Yeah, I'm trying to throw her and it didn't work.
I was trying to. Okay. Anyway, continue with your devil story, Kim.
All I'm saying is that I got a palette of glitter eyeshadows, like cream glitter eyeshadows, for like $2.
Oh, cream! Oh. Back in my day, we crushed up salt and we rubbed it in our eyes, and it was good enough for me.
Well, no wonder your mascara's always running.
My mascara's running?
His eyes hurt.
No, they don't. They're fine.
The
My grandma says I have a face for radio. That's why I'm here. Oh, okay. Well, Beverly, is there anything else you'd like to say to maybe any young artists to question whether or not they have what it takes to follow their passions?
Yeah, just, you have to try not to take ourselves so seriously. I think everybody's being pushed these days to do and be greater and go to school and do all this stuff. Do what your passion tells you to do. If you have a gut feeling and you keep pushing it away, maybe you should try it a little bit.
Right.
And it's proven that kids these days. My dad had one career and one job. Mm-hmm. I've had, one career but several jobs, and I'm actually starting a second career. But kids that are in 10 to 15 age group will probably have several careers, and why not have art be one of them, or music, or whatever your desire is. I think you can do it. You just have to put your mind to it and go. You have to really push hard.
Right.
And find people who will support you in doing those things.
Yeah, and my partner, Chris, has been a great, one for that. She bought me art lessons. Knew that I wanted to do that in the very beginning. And then, found the art studio. And, you have to have people around you that are your blessing, that that feel your passion and want you to succeed as much as you do. It all, it all goes and flows.
Yeah. Pretty cool. And if you don't have that, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means it will be more difficult.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think if we all look around, we've got friends that will support us and do. You got to rely on your family of people around you. Your
chosen family,
your
not
chosen
necessarily
family.
The ones that you were born with. Because
right.
We
that
understand
doesn't
sometimes
always
they're not
work
great.
out. Yeah, I understand that. But if we look around, there are a lot of people that support us. You know, we have to support them in return, I think.
Right.
But, yeah, it's very cool. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's been a
It's been a pleasure. I think this is a great idea. I mean, really, really great. You guys are great.
Oh, well, before you leave, can we get your website name one more time? You say you've got some preview pieces there for people to check out?
Yes, www.studiobev.com.
Okay.
And up in that, you know, the little white space up there, plug it in and it will go right to it. There's a little video that shows me doing some art. And then I have some pieces, but you have to come to the show to see the rest of them.
Yeah.
Well, we're really excited to see that. And again, thank you so much for coming on. It was honestly a real pleasure.
Shelley. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so apparently we're back. It's been 3 seconds for me, but I don't know.
But a couple minutes for everyone else.
Yeah, timey-wimey, mumbly-bumbly, boobity-boobities. Okay.
Okay, if we're doing pop culture with regards to LGBT, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, get it right.
Okay, first... Next thing she'll be like, it's yogurt, not yogurt.
I have a Teen Wolf tattoo, so I'm serious.
Okay, she has a Teen Wolf tattoo, but my Mistake Dog tattoo is apparently being called into question. His name is Mistake Dog. He is adorable. I will be posting a picture so you at home can agree with me that this is the best tattoo. And here's just a little...
So it's a dog? No, I'm actually asking.
Well, actually, to be fair, he doesn't really have an identity. He's just kind of there.
Okay,
but listen, perk. Listen, I'm going to take my long sock. Look, he's sleeping. I tucked him in.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was a potato now.
What?
He has no legs.
I just kicked the mic. Everything's gone bad.
He's also fluid, right? He can change.
Holly, I don't know if you understand tattoos, but that's on my body permanently. You're like, oh, that messed up thing on your ankle?
I didn't say it was messed up. I think it's beautiful.
You freak of nature.
I think it's beautiful.
I'm just saying, but I love potatoes, so I would not mind having...
He's not a potato. Leave him alone.
I mean, it's a mistake, Joe. We've already made so many mistakes, so...
He was my mistake, and I'm gonna raise this child, okay?
And tuck him in at night underneath your socks.
I don't wear socks to bed, Holly.
What?
You do not tell me how to raise my child. Okay, listen, we're gonna try to compose ourselves because we are. How far are we? Well, not to mention the fact that we've spliced in another timeline, so we have no idea where we're at.
I think we've got like 18 minutes that we're working with right now.
Okay, so that's a lot, but
a lot of that's gonna get cut out as I go. Okay, that's not important. Okay, we can't have kids listening to that.
Wait, you can't cut out the fun stuff. That's what's make it watchable.
I'm going to leave a lot of the fun in, but I want to cut out the things that kids can't listen to.
You've heard it. You've heard it here. Kim is gonna ruin it. Oh.
I wonder if you can hear that snap.
That was like aggressive. Like I felt genuinely intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
So to start us off, Kim, you are about some bullet points for us to kind of hit on. Not anything solid, just things to buoy us. But Kim, you wanted to talk about earlier representations of queer representation in media.
Yeah. So when you start going with, okay, when did people who are queer, is anything in the spectrum, start appearing in what we recognize as like our traditional pop culture now?
Right.
There have kind of always been hints of it in books. Go back to Oscar Wilde, and he's all about, hey, yeah, let's frolic, everything's dandy, great. Mm-hmm. But I think it was like in the 1890s or so that we started having silent films that had gay characters. It was very much so treated as though it was a novelty, but not really like a big deal. Mm. And you would see more and more of that until you hit like the 1930s or so, 1940s. And then like Catholic morality started getting in there and saying, no, homosexuality is awful. You cannot do that. And after that, you start seeing it where, okay, there are gay characters, but they have to die at the end because that's their punishment.
Yeah.
Which is why we still see so many things where there are gay characters and they die. It's all informed by the way everything has happened in the past. And even as far as the number of queer artists that there were singing, go back to, again, 1920s, 1930s, there were a lot of artists who performed in drag, who kind of... I don't remember the term for it, but basically you had guys who attempted to sing as women, or there was a period of time where you would have people recording songs, but because of the way production things were then, you couldn't change any of the words as you were performing it. Mm-hmm. So you would have guys who were singing songs about guys because the songs were originally written for women to sing.
Right.
So those are the kind of things that have informed everything along the way, and it's always important to know where things came from, so that we can know that one of the reasons why so many queer characters have died, even in recent things, is because people are going, okay, we're going to put in these queer characters, but now what do we do with them? Well, they always die, so let's just do that.
Right. We're going to do it like this because that's how it's always been done. Now, I'll admit, I haven't looked much into older, iterations of queer representation, but I do think a big topic of tonight is going to be a lot of what like gay characters are is, I think, lazy writing. Like if it's a bad character, it's just lazy writing. Because
it's also cisgender straight people who are writing gay characters.
Well, do you think a part of like why characters are killed off is because, it's like, because we as gay people, we don't get a lot of representation at all, let alone good representation, or even intersectional representation. So if there's even so much as a crumb or like a whiff of something gay, we come running.
Yeah, right.
So obviously a mainstream show that has millions of viewers that has a gay character, that's going to polarize a lot of people. It's going to bring in a lot of new viewers, but it might also have current viewers that are like, oh, gay people, no. So do you think it might be a product of giving them a taste to like lure in the gay community to watch the show and then killing them off so they don't have to really face any consequences for it?
It really kind of depends on the show and their typical audience anyway. Right. Because if you have a show that is kind of aimed toward younger viewers, they do tend to go, hey, let's put in some gay characters. So see that with things like The 100, anything on the CW. Those are the types of shows where you'll get that. But then for the ones that are an older audience, like soap operas that suddenly have trans characters, who it's like, this is somebody who's been on here for 10 years and it's just suddenly revealed that, oh, they were trans all along. And so obviously not played by a trans actor because they just decided, hey, we're just going to pull this out of nowhere.
Right.
Those things tend to be more, hey, we need to get more of an audience. Come over here and watch this. But they're the ones who tend to be alienating the viewers that they already have because young people don't tend to watch soap operas. Well, our lives are soap operas, so.
I didn't even know soap operas continued to be a thing. So I've learned something new tonight. I don't know about you guys at home. There is a show that I really, really enjoy seeing that is for children that has wonderful gay representation. It's called Steven Universe. I'm sure, Kim, you've seen it probably.
I have seen little bits and pieces of it. The art style bugs me, and I'm judgmental.
Oh, okay. It's gonna be like that then. All right.
I still support it, and I support people who watch it.
Well, before we get too like deep into the conversation of like, why gay media is what it is, or what makes a good representation or a bad one, let's talk a little bit about why representation is important. Holly, do you have anything you want to say about that, or?
Well, I think, obviously, living in a community like we are in now in rural America, if kids aren't seeing representation in media, then a lot of times they're not seeing it at all. So I know for me, I'm from a really small town in Alabama, and until I was 14, I had never seen a true gay character or met a gay person, really, in my life. And so I think for a lot of kids who are questioning their identity, it's really important for them to see positive role models that they can see in real life and be like, oh my gosh, these people exist, and that's okay. Right. So that way they're not always getting these negative portrayals and negative ideas about what a queer person is, right? Because I mean, we talked about this earlier, that a lot of queer characters, the whole show is only about them being queer and not necessarily as them being a person.
Like them having real life, regular person issues that makes them relatable.
And so I think in that sense, it's really important for kids questioning their identity to see that, like, yes, they're queer, but they're so much more. They're like an onion. They're like a layered person. They have so many aspects of their identity that is not always talked about.
Right. Now, I did get a few numbers before the show. So, since 1976, there have been approximately 18,000 straight characters introduced in media, and 383 gay characters. So that is quite the differential.
Now, are we saying gay to represent, like, as an umbrella term?
Yeah, I think the whole community. So that's 41 years. Just think about that. 18,000 straight characters, 383 gay characters. Now, of those 383 characters, 162 of them have died in their show. So the mortality rate for gay people is almost 50%. Now, those are kind of bigger numbers. So to give you a kind of an idea, I don't have a lot of specifics about this one, but The Walking Dead, since it has aired, has introduced a total of 266 characters. 6 of those characters have been LGBT. And that is 2% of the cast. And, no, I did not run these numbers myself, but the person who did says that the screen time that they have received is next to nothing compared to the average character. Mm. And that's very frustrating because, growing up for me, being gay, I knew I was gay when I was very young. And the reason why is because I was a feminine child. I loved all kinds of toys. I loved Barbies. I loved everything. Mm. But I was told about gay very early on because they were like, I'm pretty sure this kid's gay. So they were like, Charlie, if you're gay, you are going to go to hell. God doesn't love you. And all this terrible stuff. So even by the age of 8 years old, I wanted to buy a dollhouse for my mom, and my mom got it for me. But I was so afraid that when we went to the register, I was literally, as a child, 8 years old, being like, wow, Mom, isn't my sister going to love this toy? Very actively, probably very obvious to the woman. But, that sense of fear is very real. It was something that was not spoken about. It was something to hide and be shameful of. Mm. So I didn't see any gay characters growing up myself. But I think it's so important for kids nowadays to see it because there might be kids in that same position who think that it's something taboo, something that shouldn't be brought up, something you should keep secret. So I think that if we're vocal about it and really, talk about it like it's nothing, because it is nothing, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it. Yeah. So.
And I think another thing to consider as well is, I think everyone in this room, we all grew up a little bit before the internet really, really took off. So, my parents we had one family computer, and we had internet, but it was dial-up.
Oh my gosh.
So it was trash, basically.
Yeah, so you had nothing.
But I think a lot of, my generation and a little bit younger, have a little bit more resources as well with the internet, right? Because they have so many people that they can look at on YouTube, right? Or, other representations of real life people who may be trans and in the middle of a transition, and they get to see all these positive role models as well. Mm-hmm. But it's frustrating because why can't those same people be incorporated into media shows that we're watching or be, somewhat in the public eye?
Right.
Yes, I'm a little older than you guys, I think. So I was in high school in the late 90s. So that got to be the time when I would go down to Blockbuster Video and obsessively read the backs of new videotapes that came in to see, okay, does this one seem like it's queer at all?
Yeah.
And then rent them all because that was the thing that happened back then. Mm-hmm. And bring them home and watch them to be like, oh, hey, this is such a sweet story. And oh, everybody's dead.
Yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, because even then, you would still try to find everything you possibly could, every morsel of it, because there wasn't enough to be discerning.
Right. Well, I think everybody, they want to see themselves in media, because we do live in a culture that's very much it's, if I see someone else do it, it's okay, and I have no fear doing it. So, I think we second guess ourselves. We see women on television who have children when they're not prepared, or they're too young, or something, and I think that's great, reaffirming for women, but for gay people, we're all in this room white. Mm-hmm. So we're having trouble finding, representation of us. Let alone if you're in the gay community and you're Black or Asian. Mm-hmm. That stuff is almost non-existent. Mm-hmm. It really is.
Yeah. But at the same time, there are also a lot of shows where if they're going to have a gay character or anything else in that kind of LGBT thing, they will also be Black or Asian or Latino or something, and they will also be the only representation that show has of somebody who is a person of color.
Right. So it's really, I think a lot of people are like, we've got one character, that should be enough. And it's not, media should be a reflection of reality, you know what I mean? If there's a show about the hospital, I expect to see a diverse cast of bodies and, everything. In the ideal world. But
in an ideal world, are we a lot of dead people?
Well, no,
that's what it sounds like.
No, I didn't say diverse bodies as in they were all dead. I mean, like, diverse body types, girl.
Oh, well, okay.
Now you nitpicking. I don't know. But, gosh, what was I going to say? We're talking
about diversity.
Oh, well, it's... Right.
Yeah, representation across the board. Because intersectionality is so important to have with that representation, because you cannot just represent the queer community. You cannot just represent the straight community. And as you're representing either one of those, we need to do better about representing all of the shapes and sizes and colors and everything that all people come in, because they're all wonderful.
Right. Well, I think that representation is important not just for gay children, for gay adults. It's also important for straight people to see gay characters, trans characters, because, you know...
We exist.
Yeah, we do exist.
You can't pretend, you can't put on this blind eye and, like, pretend like we are not here.
Well, you know,
we're here and we'll always be here.
Well, I mean, you said you went to, like, 14 without ever meeting a gay person.
Right. That you knew of.
Yeah, that you know of.
Right.
But I think there are a lot of people out there who are probably middle-aged, who in their mind, I'm sure it's not true, but in their mind think they've never met a gay person.
Right.
And, you know, when you kind of, like, have a mental image and you have nothing to compare it to, the mental image kind of gets out of hand.
Right.
And it's important to see that, like, yes, I'm gay. And, like, I do have a boyfriend, but
I'm not a terrible person.
Yeah, but there's more to us than this whole, like, oh, the gay people are gonna come steal your cattle in the middle of the night, you know, it's like, I've never heard that used before, but I'm afraid it might come. But
I couldn't steal a cattle if I tried. Well, I guess not a cattle, multiple cattle, right? That's like a group of cows.
Cattle is the group of cows. But at the same time, if it is cow that is going to be sent to be made into food, it's called a beef.
I'm not sure what to do with that information, but I certainly have it now. But yeah,
so you don't just go tip a cow, tip a beef.
Okay, I might. You know what? I have beef with cows. How about that? Am I right, ladies?
Okay.
Am I? Oh my gosh, I can't snap my fingers.
This is the time we find out.
Charlie, you're so gay you can't snap.
I can bend and snap.
Okay. We'll take it.
I remember
even better, girl.
Yeah.
Even
that when they said that still rings in my ears. I can hear it exactly. I'm like, bend and snap. And snap. Oh my gosh.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh gosh.
Well, and I think representation in the media is important as well, because things like that are what are going to shape what becomes normative, right?
Right.
So, like, I mean, I'm sure you guys were aware whenever Beauty and the Beast came out, there was a gay character, and everybody was up in arms about this gay character, which to me was confusing, because I'm like, she's marrying an animal. So,
yeah, a dog, basically.
So I'm just, like, quite confused about that. But, and that way, especially with younger adults, it's, well, even younger than that, it's really important, I think, if you see it, it doesn't become as taboo, like you were saying. And so if we're really trying to change public opinion about this lifestyle, representation is essential, not just in movies, but in music, books, public eye, politics. Like, we are here and we are everywhere, and that's not going to change.
Right. I think it is really important to see ourselves, to have something to... Because it can be very, very lonely if you're a person in the gay community.
Right.
Yeah, especially, you know, we have this center and we have each other, and the connections I've made here have been incredible. And if I hadn't had this center, I probably wouldn't have met half of you.
Right. I wouldn't have either.
Yeah, and so, like, you know, there are people who might even be listening to this podcast who are in even more rural areas, and, you know, there are people who aren't out. I remember in my high school, it was me and 2 other gay guys, and, like, that was the dating pool, and we were all femmes. Right. So, but, you know, it's just important to know that, to see it and to be like, they're here, and I'm not defined by this, and
I think for me especially, one thing that I struggled a lot with my identity is just, even when there is queer representation in the media, a lot of the times it's very stereotypical images of the gay man, the lesbian, you know, maybe even the trans person or people like that. And so for me, I don't fit the typical, like, gay woman stereotype, at least not in my head, because I'm, like, slightly feminine but slightly masculine, and I'm, like, kind of in between, but, like, I had only seen representation that was, like, very masculine women who were just portrayed in this awful light, you know? And so I had never really associated with that image. And so I was like, well, am I really gay? Like,
right.
I didn't understand that there was a spectrum of gender identity and sexual orientation. I didn't understand anything of that nature.
And me being bisexual, there's even less representation of that in any kind of media. But there are also things where there are even less representation. People who are asexual, people who are intersex.
Right.
There are so many things that our community encompasses, but white gay male is the thing that's there at the top of the list for most represented. And then go down the list, and you can, the further down you fall for commonality in media, the more you're going to feel like, okay, does nobody want me?
Right.
It's very, very important for media to go in and say there are stories that can be told, but it's also very important that those stories be told by people behind the scenes who actually know it.
Right. And that's something we're going to touch on later about, queer roles being played by queer talent. But there are people who think, they're like, why does it matter? It's not a big deal. And it's like, that's mostly straight people who will say it because, well, you have no possible idea what it's like. It's very alienating because if you watch a show and I see a girl and a guy make eye contact for 3 seconds, I'm like, great. All right. Another romance is brewing. And
that Avril Lavigne song, Skater Boy, where it starts out, he was a boy, she was a girl. Can I make it any more obvious?
Yes, you can, Avril. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can actually have a build-up of a real relationship.
I think she was working with that 3-minute time frame, but...
Well, I mean,
I think Avril Lavigne is dead.
Yeah, she's dead. She has a replacement.
Avril Lavigne is dead, and if you don't know what that means, look it up. There's a whole conspiracy about it. Long story short, Avril is dead. Someone is walking in her shoes, and I don't feel safe at night. But...
do you really think Chad Kroeger did it?
I haven't gone that deep into the hole. I'm still a good Christian.
I'm just saying, Nickelback, come on. There's a reason why they're still, here and there.
I don't know. I don't trust them. Something about it just ain't right.
It's the ramen noodle hair.
Oh, don't remind me. Such dark times we live in. But, back to the media, it's like, it does have very real, very far-reaching consequences because there are people who... That's what they have to gauge us with. That's what they... I remember one time, this was before I had discovered my femininity, but I was at the nail salon with my friend, and she was getting her nails done, and I was broke, so I just kind of sat there with her. And as we were checking out, how straight people will, ask us, dance around the question to let us know. They're like, so are you dating? And I was like, no, I'm really gay. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I need a gay best friend to go shopping with. I'm like, cool, that's not me. Later. And then just, it's that, and the amount of times that's happened to me, where a woman will say to me, I need a gay best friend, I'm like, keep looking.
I'm not your trophy.
Yeah, keep looking, honey. Yeah. It's not me.
Right. Now, granted, there is a movie called GBF that is all about the idea of how, okay, there's these girls who want a gay best friend, and they do everything they can to make sure that, he needs to be prom king with this other boy, and it's going to be so cute.
Right.
But the message in the end is, don't do that.
Yeah, we're not trinkets for you to align in a dollhouse. I mean, we got our own stuff going on.
Yeah.
Whenever I came out in high school, I was the only gay friend, gay person in our group or whatever.
Right.
And my friends would always introduce me as their lesbian friend Holly. And
God.
But when I was younger, I didn't really think about the consequences of that, and then they would continually out me to people that I didn't necessarily want to know my identity, and then I was like, well, I'm not your trophy lesbian, whatever. So we ended up having a conversation that, can you just introduce me by my name, and that be it,
and then if I'm comfortable with the person, then I'll come out to them.
Yeah, that's my business to say.
Right.
I had a coworker, and he would be like, hey, he thinks you're cute, jokingly, to a guy that I did think was cute, but he played it off like it was a joke. And I'm like, I pulled him aside and I'm like, dude, do you not realize that gay people are literally murdered for this?
Right.
I mean, literally murdered. That's not an exaggeration. I get to you, it's funny because it's not something you have to deal with the consequences of. But now every time I see that person, they're going to look at me. And if they even catch me looking back, they're going to think, oh God, he's checking me out. And that's not something I want to deal with.
Right.
And, it's... whenever we meet new people, we have to go through that. We have to be like, oh yeah, they're really nice, but what if they find out I'm gay and it turns into a whole issue?
Right.
So coming out as...
Sure, they seem accepting,
Mhm.
but are they really? Do
Right.
they have some religious thing
Mhm.
that where they go, oh, I'm sure you're loved by people, but not by God.
Yeah, no, it's... Because we never know. We have no idea of knowing. And anybody... Because we've entered an era nowadays where homophobia, racism still is very much alive, but it's not so much displayed. Because...
Now, with the current presidency and things that have gone on with that, there's a certain amount of everything that has gone on that lends credence to that idea. So we are seeing more people feel like it's okay for them to be out and proud about the fact that they don't like black people or trans people or this, that, or the next thing. There's a reason why we've already had 17 black trans women killed just this year.
I mean, it's not a joke.
I mean, that's what you would think when we elect a vice president who believes in the electric conversion of gay children.
I mean,
so
yeah.
I mean, we could get a whole episode of politics talking about that disgusting man. Could really happen. But
yeah,
to get us back on track, I'm going to get to like kind of a lighter note, maybe something the viewers at home can use. So I want to talk about good representation versus bad representation. And we kind of touched on this before, but do either of you have any characters that you love because of how they're presented, or hate?
Oh, everybody on Sense8 who is LGBTQ is generally good representation.
I
agree.
Yeah, 110%.
And same with Orange Is the New Black.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. But at the same time, those two shows do a very good job of showing that if you have a lot of diversity in characters, then you kind of have to go all out with it. You can't just have diversity in color, you have to have diversity in gender, in sexuality.
Right.
And for being a show that's about a women's prison, they get enough guys in there. Guys get their time on TV all the time.
Right.
So those are two shows that, regardless of whether or not you actually like the content, they still have good diversity, good representation, but they also have a lot of people behind the scenes who are also part of the community, and that really helps to inform the choices that they make.
Right.
So the fact that Sense8 is put together by two trans women,
exactly,
that helps a lot to make sure that the transgender character that they have comes across as authentic.
Absolutely.
Right.
And particularly when you have transgender people playing transgender characters.
Right. Absolutely.
Then,
so important.
Yeah, that helps to make sure that those characters are being authentic.
Right.
Now, I don't want to say that you shouldn't have people who identify as straight to play gay characters, because with the way that Hollywood kind of goes, but no, I know you're gay, but you're straight.
Ugh, yeah.
So, with that thing where they feel like they have to be in the closet, I can kind of understand maybe they're not as straight as the world might think they are. So I'm comfortable with pretty much anybody playing a gay character.
Right.
Because there's nothing wrong with that. But again, when trans characters come into play, there's an extra step up there.
Right.
So, for all that transgender people are part of the LGBT community, there are two different spectrums that we're talking there between sexuality and gender.
Right.
And they're on that different axis.
Right.
And so, yes, they're crossing over into what we're doing, but they have to be considered separate in that way.
Right.
So.
And this is going to be a spoiler, but I was very disappointed at the last season of Orange is the New Black because they killed off another gay character who happened to be a person of color. So I love that show, and I think the representation is great, but she's also my favorite character in the show, so I was like, why are you doing this to me?
Right.
My life means nothing.
Yeah.
Basically.
I've only seen season 1, and I kind of, I don't know, I'm the type to like pick up a show and then like immediately put it down and be like, you stay here, I'll be back, and then I just leave. So.
Well, and I think especially both of those shows do a great job of not doing what we were talking about earlier about making a gay character all about them being gay, and that's the story.
Right.
Because they both have amazing ways of developing characters where they just add layer of knowledge of who this person is. And so you start to realize that, yes, they might be gay, but there's so much more to their identity than just that. And it really makes you, like, appreciate good story writing.
Yeah, they write a character who's gay, not a gay character.
Right.
Yeah. Now, there are some other good representations. You were talking about Steven Universe, and then was that Adventure Time also has.
Oh yeah, Marceline and the Bubblegum Queen. Yeah.
We have How to Get Away with Murder.
Again, that's another show I left at the orphanage.
But I don't know if I like that representation.
And that's one of those where
I question it because it's like a typical like representation of a gay man. He's obsessed with sex.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
And so in that sense, his identity is mostly involved around him hooking up with other gay men. But at least for the first season, it's getting a little better now because he has a boyfriend. But
to be fair,
all that stuff.
They do tackle his boyfriend having HIV.
Yes,
and
they do.
They do so that you can be safe and be with a partner and still. Be very intimate with them,
right?
Which is very important. It's a subject that I haven't seen breached before, really.
Yeah, that's actually something that was touched on in Queer as Folk back in the day, which, for as much as it had a lot of stuff going for it, there were some bad instances of not so great representation in there. Mm-hmm. So there are a couple of lesbian characters who are shoehorned in a little bit. Mm-hmm. They're very important parts of it, but I don't know, they're kind of bad representations of lesbians.
Right.
Because one of them is so butch, but she's also, they're both incredibly, just kind of bad people.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing is queer coding in the media, but before we get to that, I want to talk a bit about, bad representation. Now, we all know about Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Which basically, I read the books, and I do not remember anything about it being in the books.
There wasn't.
And there was nothing about it in the movies.
Now, he was coded queer in the way that he wore his lilac robes and everything. Mm-hmm. But if you have to be told afterward, and it wasn't obvious to anybody, you didn't write a queer character.
Right. I mean, it's just, I said this before, it's lazy writing in the sense that, you're taking a political stance without really having to deal with the backlash. Because if you're a gay person, you're going to seek out, gay characters, all right, like truffles in the forest.
Right.
But if you're a straight person, you kind of have the luxury of taking things at face value. Because we do have to read into things. We do have to read into things such as subtext. We have to look at, panels, because in a lot of shows, I know specifically, there are countries that will not allow you to have a confirmed on-screen gay couple. So if a show is hey, these characters are gay in America, they can't show that show in these other countries, and that's a huge loss for them. So we have to look into, we have to go to panel interviews, and we have to do all this. We have to look into it. We have to research to find out that Dumbledore's gay. So it's leaving us a crumb while straight people get to be Dumbledore wasn't gay. What are you talking about? It's just. It's lazy writing, and it's not good representation. It's just a throwaway bit. It's here you go, here's your bone.
Yeah, I think one that I was really disappointed about was The 100. I loved the show, and I actually initially started watching it because my gay friend was like, oh my gosh, there's a lesbian couple, you need to watch it.
Right.
Lesbian couple? What? They made out, twice.
Yeah.
Until the last season, and then, they, were like, bye, I love you. But, there was no actual build-up. I felt like it was just, two women hooking up on screen so that people would think it was, attractive. But it was never, this, I don't know, actual relationship. It was more of them just hooking up for male gays.
Right.
Yeah.
At least that's the sense that I got from it. And I really liked the show, but I was really disappointed, especially at her, because I was like, how are you going to tell me this is a gay couple on this show? This is not a couple. This is not representation. This isn't what...
Yeah, but that's one of the things that happens when you don't have a lot of representation. Suddenly anything is good, particularly for people who haven't really seen what is out there. Because there is good representation to be found, but it is still few and far between.
Right.
So we find any morsel that we can, going, okay, well, if I gather up enough of them, surely I'm going to find, a whole piece of cake, right?
Right. Well, also, another thing is there's so many facets. When I was a child, I searched for coming out representation, that, because that was my issue. But now that I'm an adult, I've leveled up to a stage 3 gay. So I'm looking for representation of you two are both queer women, and I am. I say a gender fluid gay male because I consider, you know, my gayness very much still part of my identity because it's affected my life so much, while still embracing my femininity and just kind of ignoring the gender binary as I frolic on through. But there's a game that really hit close to home for me. I loved it. It's called Night in the Woods. You may have heard of it. There's the way they handle gay characters on it is just like, there's no coming out. There's no like, oh, what do you mean? It's just like, these characters are gay. And there's a scene in particular where they tackle, there are two men who are in a relationship, and one of them is out with his friend who is, you know, a lesbian. And he talks about like how he doesn't feel like he's good enough for his boyfriend. And he says like, I'm nothing without him. I'm like parking lot trash without him. He is so good, and he doesn't have a good family. And it tackles like issues of like, because, you know, having a gay relationship is very much like, I think there's a lot of factors into it. Like, are we just dating because we can't find anything else? Am I good enough for you? I want to be. I feel like we feel love very intensely because it comes at such a great personal cost. And I can agree with that. And it just really hit close home to me because I do often, like, myself feel like, am I good enough for other people? And if you're someone who likes video games, I would highly recommend Night in the Woods. Lots of gay characters, and, you know, like I said, there is good representation to be found of coming out. It should definitely be there, but in this game there are several gay characters, and it's never an issue of like, wow. It's just like, oh, okay, so I guess they're gay. Like, you find out in real time. It was really interesting.
And I think particularly I have a love-hate relationship with the L Word, because that's like the one show that is about lesbians. Like, that's what it's about.
I thought you meant like love or like lesbian.
No, it's like, literally just about lesbians.
No, I thought you meant like the actual word, not a show.
That's what the reference is.
Right. So, But that was one of the reasons that I started figuring out that I was gay, was because when I lived in Alabama, like, I didn't know anyone that was gay. I heard about the show on Tumblr, and I was like, okay, like, let me watch an episode. But at the time, my parents had already moved, so I was staying at my family friend's house, and I still remember every night I would sit on the floor with my headphones in the corner, watching this by myself, because Lord knows that no one else could know that I was watching a show about lesbians, you know? That was just so taboo. Yeah. And so for that, I loved it because, you know, it had the representation at the time that, oh my gosh, they exist, and like, and a lot of it isn't about coming out, it's just about them being gay. But then on one hand, I also don't like it because it's so centered around them hooking up, and like a lot of it, there's no actual plot. It's just like all this like lesbian drama, which is like another stereotype. And so I think it's valuable in one sense and then not in another.
Yeah, and so that's one of those things where you have to look at it through the lens of the time. Right. Because again, Queer as Folk is something where the way that it's done does not necessarily hold up to what we want it to be now, because so much of it is that hookup culture that was what the gay community in general was known for at the time. And now you have representation of like characters on Modern Family who are almost desexualized because, oh, well, you know, the good white gay male doesn't actually have sex, he just adopts children and blah, blah, blah. Right. So that's the kind of representation that we're starting to see, but it's kind of sad. There's so much in between. Yeah. And like one of my favorite shows is Teen Wolf. And Teen Wolf is directed by Jeff Davis, who is a gay man. Right. So that kind of helps, and he's talked in interviews about how what he likes to do with the show is to present it as a world where there is no homophobia. Yeah. So in the entirety of the show so far, there are only two characters who have actually stated, you know, one has said, I'm gay, one has said, I'm straight. Everybody else, it's kind of up in the air. Right. Now, there's still some bad to it because most of the relationships represented are still what we consider straight relationships. But there's also a whole lot of, oh, hey, here's this hot girl who goes, well, I need a partner in class. And there are just as many girls who raise their hand to be like, I'll work with you, as there are guys. So some of these shows you do just have to examine further to be like, okay, yes, that is good representation under the surface. But for somebody who wasn't paying attention, you know, they'd still go, okay, that's all straight people. Yeah, that's fine.
Right. Well, especially straight people.
Yeah. Well,
because straight people aren't going to be looking deeper.
No. Straight people are going to take what they can steal from us.
That's why I tell my straight friends, I'm like, that's not something that you have ever had to pay attention to.
Right.
But, like, as an LGBT person in society, for me at least, that's, like, one of the first things that I'm, like, paying attention to. Especially if you're single, right? Because, you know.
Well, not only that, there are corporations out there that want to take advantage of us. There are corporations who bring out the rainbows for Pride, but then, at the same time, support very anti-gay measures.
Right.
And to go back to like Modern Family, of the desexualizing of gay relationships to kind of like, you know, make them kid friendly or, you know, safe for consumption, I suppose. I've noticed, especially online, I do have a Tumblr, and there are two kinds of gay shippers, as they call it. Shippers are people who are like, these two characters belong together. That's called a ship.
Yeah.
So there are two kinds of people. There are two gay men start holding hands and they're like, oh, evil sin, look at my gay evil babies. Like, it's so like they treat like an innocuous activity as something so like sinful.
Right.
And it just reinforces this idea that what we're doing is wrong. But then there's the other side that's like, oh no, sweet cinnamon rolls, they don't even kiss, they just hold hands and snuggle. And it's like, okay, we're not little baubles, okay, for you to adorn your shelf with. All right, we're people. And it's gross for like, it's the fetishization of the gay community.
Right.
I see it a lot with straight women, particularly with gay couples, and they don't see anything wrong with it. They're like, let us ship our gay characters in peace, and it's like, let us live in peace, honey.
Right.
Well,
like,
and it comes from, there are people who do it from different ways. Some people are doing it as a way to try to explore relationships, because particularly for women, like especially young girls, exploring relationships, it's a lot easier for them to do it with men who are allowed to do a lot of things that women are not allowed to do by patriarchal standards and everything. That's where a lot of that comes from. Now, it is informed by a lot of bad ideas behind it all. There's a tendency for them to just get it all wrong.
Right.
But when it's fiction, to a certain point, you have to allow them to get it wrong because it is an exploration.
Right.
Now, when they're people being paid to produce the content, then yeah, they need to do better.
Right.
So, for instance, there is a book publishing company called Interlude Press. And I have purchased a ton of books from them because they have a lot of authors who write basically exclusively LGBT content.
Right.
So they have stories that do have, like, a black cowboy and a Latino cowboy end up falling in love as they're out there fighting horses.
Aww.
It's beautiful.
I do love a good horse and the gays. Apparently cowboys were super gay, like, historically.
Oh, yes.
Like, men signed up to be cowboys so they could find lovers, and I think that's fantastic.
That is fantastic.
Because, like, it's seen so much as, like, a masculine, like, you know, John Wayne, I'm gonna shoot a bottle.
White boys were very rarely cowboys. So.
Well, and I think also going along with fetishization, if I could speak.
Fettuccine, yes.
Yeah. I'm hungry. That's not fair.
Oh, I really want McDonald's.
But along with that idea, I think you're right, especially in, like, sometimes straight men really confuse me because they are so aligned with their masculinity that they don't understand other gay men, right? But they're obsessed with gay women.
Right.
Sexually, at least.
Yeah,
right?
sexually.
No, I can't be in a relationship, but you would like to see us together.
Yeah, they don't support gay marriage, but they want to watch lesbians on Pornhub.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think I have a problem in that sense because I'm very weary of lesbians in general media because I'm like, okay, well, what is your purpose? Like, and that's why I have a problem whenever they are, like, the relationship isn't a full relationship, right? Where they're not intimate in more ways than that, right? Like, if they're not connecting on, like, an actual person basis about what a relationship is supposed to be like.
Right. Well, I think that just plays into the male power structure that women are not people, but rather objects to be consumed and used. So it's not seen as like, these women need rights. It's like, these women are here, they're doing what they're doing for me.
Right.
To get what I need and then to just bounce.
Right.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with those women being together. It is very much to the idea of, oh, look, two women, both for me.
Right.
So.
I actually didn't think about it like that. Did I? Never mind. I was like, wait, did I just say that? Did you just repeat what I said? No. I'm sorry.
Well, that happens to me and my girlfriend all the time. Especially because we're both very feminine, you know? Like, whenever we go out and stuff. And so, people, like, men do not understand that we are, like, in a relationship, you know? And they'll be like, ooh, like, can I join? And we're like... Oh, my God. And we're like, we're lesbians. That's the point. Like, we're also in a monogamous relationship. Yeah. So, no, you are not welcome. No, please get out of my face.
Like, being bisexual, I have been invited to so many awkward threesomes. Yeah.
I mean, I've been invited to a threesome before, but I'm just, you know, a little old dainty gay male. But, I mean, I have to be wary in different ways, because I am, for those of you who've seen, like, the preview video, I am a large person. Like, that's not something I would say that's not something I'm ashamed of. That's something I struggle with, though, like, because I know I'm worth intrinsic value regardless of aesthetic appeal. But, you know, in the community we're in, it can be very hypersexualized. And a lot of it can rely on looks. But, so, like, I came here, and there was a man who was very into me, and the people were like, oh, yeah, he really likes, like, big people. Like, he really, like, loves Tess Holiday and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he just wants to, like... this is a kid-friendly show.
Fetishize you.
I was going to say some horrible things. But no, he wants me for my body, and it's something I have to be careful of, and it kind of sucks, because, like, I would like to say I have a good personality, I have a very loving...
You're fabulous.
You are fabulous.
Well, thank you, you two are very nice. But, like, I consider myself a person who has a lot of love to give, and, it's hard to get past that initial, like, you know, I think maybe in the past, gay men cruising, you know, might have been a thing, because it was very much like, you're hot, let's go. I think it might be hard for, like, someone like me to get past that initial barrier and, like, be like, hey, do you want to, like, develop something here? Or, like,
get coffee and read a book together?
Yeah, do you want to, like, comfort me while I have a mental breakdown outside of the dumpster at Arby's? Like, you know.
There might be half a chocolate shake at the bottom for you.
I didn't finish my toasted Italian. But no, so, I mean, that's definitely something we do have to be careful of, because fetishization and acceptance are two very, very binary things.
Right.
And kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does. There's so much in media that could be changed to be better.
Yeah.
When it comes to showing our community, because we are a community,
yeah,
and that's something that needs to be present there, which is why all of these things that have just one gay character, or maybe there's two, but they're a couple and they never exist outside of each other.
Right.
These things would be solved dramatically by having more people behind the scenes actually writing.
Right.
And when Hollywood is still going, nope, you have to be straight, there's not a lot of space there for queer people to feel like they can get involved in that. And until that space is made for them, and the same goes with even getting, you know, people who are of color into the movies. When you only have like 5 well-known working actors of one color, then of course they're going to be the ones who are getting the roles.
Right. The few roles that there are.
Yeah, the few roles that there are. So if you make more roles and open them up to more people, then suddenly other people are going to see that and they're going to go, well, maybe I can be in movies too.
Yeah. If you build it, they'll come.
Right. Exactly.
I mean.
And that same thing comes with the queer community. By us seeing ourselves represented in this media, even if you don't know that you're part of the community yet, that's where you're going to see yourself and recognize, hey, you know what? I kind of feel that same way too. Maybe that's me. Maybe I need to research it more.
Like me sitting on the floor with headphones and watching the L Word.
And that's why it's so important. To be completely honest, the way that I kind of figured out that I was bi was I knew that I liked guys. But I was flipping through the channels at 2 a.m. one night when I couldn't sleep, and the Playboy channel was something that was suddenly, like, unlocked on my TV for some reason.
Oh, what dreams may come.
And I saw this very, like, Norwegian-looking lady, blonde hair.
Was it me?
It was not you, but very similar.
Shame.
Do you guys know who Tila Tequila is?
Yes. Oh, okay. Shot of love with Tila Tequila.
Yes, but remember she had it to where she was like dating men and women at the same time.
Yes.
And so I watched it, and I never really realize how interesting I thought it was. But for like 6 years, I wanted to lip ring because the woman candidate who she almost got engaged to had a lip ring, and now I know it's because I thought she was hot.
Oh, well, check that out.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But that's the whole thing. Until you see it as a thing that is okay, you're not even going to look for it within yourself.
Right. Or if it's a thing that even exists. I mean, there are a lot of people who don't know what transgendered means.
Yeah, they don't know what intersex is, and there are a lot of these different things toward the later end of the acronym that don't have representation hardly at all. I think there have been like 2 asexual characters on TV in the past decade.
Right.
Those escape me. I was about to say I haven't even heard of those.
Yeah, one was on Sirens.
Which is ironic given the name. I haven't heard of the show, but Seductresses.
It lasted 1 season.
Oh, well, that explains it.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Which
it was good representation of an asexual character, too. Now, at first it was, oh, hey, I want to date this girl. Oh, she's asexual. Okay, let me go learn about this. Hey, did you know blah, 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 blah about asexual people? And that kind of info dump might seem, oh, that's extraneous. Who
ham-fisted.
But at the same time, for the character, it was perfectly in place for him to be that kind of guy to go do that research and spat it off to everybody. Go, oh yeah, we just need to accept her because there's nothing wrong with her.
It made sense for the character,
right?
Yeah,
and I think for me that's also especially troubling with intersex people because they actually make up 20%, or 2% of our population. Like that's as many redheads as there are on the planet, and I'm a redhead for people who don't know that. Yeah. So I'm like, wow, like I didn't know that until like there's a famous model now who has come out as intersex and has been talking about like we exist and this is a thing and it's okay. And
now there is an intersex character on Faking It. So
you guys are more well versed in pop culture than I am. I feel ashamed. Okay, well, see, I watch YouTube videos all day because I like to I don't know. I rewatch the same stuff every day too. I don't know. I'm a strange child, but like I like to have something going on in the background, but I like do other things like you know massage my cat or like.
But seriously, Faking It has so many queer characters. I think it's actually off the air now. I need to go back and actually watch more of it. But Laverne Cox also showed up in it.
Oh, honey.
So,
oh, Lord.
Well, there's one more thing that I want to talk to you guys about that I guess has always confused me. What is up with Ellen? I love Ellen, but like I don't understand. She is so accepted by like almost every straight person that I know.
She's white.
Yeah. Well, it also
that really helps a lot. I
will say that having a good personality helps a lot because like my survival in West Virginia was based entirely on my personality. Like people liked me because I was funny and I knew how to work a room.
Yeah.
I think Ellen is very charismatic and she shares those.
Yeah, and she's also not particularly sexual.
Right.
Yeah, she's not very. It's not very thrown in your face. It's very easy to kind of forget if you didn't know.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people who like Ellen but don't support marriage equality. And I guess that just really confuses me because I'm just so hyper aware of her sexuality that I guess they can just put it in the back of their mind.
Matters to you because it's your life.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
right.
Whereas they go, oh, well, it's like, who cares if there's mayonnaise on a burger if I'm not eating it?
Yeah, it's like...
That was a good metaphor. And y'all keep talking about food, and your girl is hungry.
Yeah,
like,
now, gum?
Well, I'm thinking,
gum? Oh. That is not substantive.
What flavor?
It's sweet mint.
Oh, disgusting. No, well, now I'm thinking Subway. I don't know. I don't know. I really like Italian subs.
Okay. Do you like Italian men?
Well, I don't know. I think I'm kind of like. I'm by no means boy crazy. I'm still very much like a reserved, like shy, like in every sense of the... Well, you are certainly not wrong.
Or a French.
Okay, well, again, you're trying. Y'all trying at something, but I
didn't even say it. I just mouthed it to you.
Yeah, you mouthed it. You like. I think they just
I
barely.
myself. That's the first time in history I've ever bleeped myself.
I think they heard the word French, so now they just have to
fill in the blanks.
Patreon reward $5 a month.
French pastry.
You know what? We're gonna. I just.
Do you want a big slice of that baguette?
Han. Am I right, fellow y'alls?
Fellow y'alls? Oh my gosh, that hurt me to say.
Wait, y'all don't say y'all?
No, I say y'all all the time.
I say y'all.
I'm from New York.
Oh, she's from New York. Oh, okay.
But also,
y'all,
y'all is gender neutral. Just to say. So instead of me saying you guys, I'll just say y'all.
Yeah, come on, y'all.
This is America.
17.
North Carolina.
17.
I say
Use?
Uses. Yeah.
17 demons accosted me in my watershed, and I killed them all with my scatter gun. I read that before.
Okay, I was just slightly confused.
No, I wasn't just like disassociating into like a previous life. I wasn't just like.
I just thought that the last Italian sub you have is kind of bad.
I haven't had an Italian sub today. I said I want one. I just love Italian everything. Well, okay, to go back to your question, when it comes to men, insider info, oh jeez. But,
You lifted a skirt again.
No, I didn't. You guys, listen, this is lifting skirt, alright? Oh my god. Oh, that went really high. To the viewers at home, I don't know my own strength.
Well, thank goodness they're not viewers.
Well, I went to lift my skirt, but I don't know my own strength, and I kind of, gave him something for free. Gave him cake to the homeless. You know what I'm saying? But no,
that's in quiz.
Okay, listen. So this is what I'm doing. I'm rubbing my knees. It's very sensual. It's not. If they want to see above,
it is lifting the skirt a little bit when you come back up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen.
It's just a tease.
Y'all are lucky I'm not charging for my feet are showing right now. Okay,
right?
But see. I just
does your tattoo have a name?
We literally talked about this, Holly. What did I tell you about Mistake Dog?
Oh, but is that his real name?
On the birth certificate, yeah.
You got a birth certificate for your tattoo?
Well, she's like, is that his real name? like, what you thinking, girl? How you doing? Okay.
All right.
Should we end on another would you rather question? Because I have a website pulled up.
Sure.
There's one that to me is funny, but other normal people might find depressing, which kind of sums up my entire life. Okay. Okay, let's do this one. Are you guys ready? Well, I mean, I guess we should say, do we have any more closing thoughts on media, anything we didn't cover?
Yeah, we do need to talk a little bit about the fact that the representation of the queer community that does exist is so often focused on things that in general are such a small part of the community. Mm-hmm. So, like sex work.
Right.
Virtually every trans character who is in something is involved in sex work.
Right.
And while that certainly does happen, there needs to be more representation outside of that. We need to show the actual reality of all people, not just that one little stereotype that some people might know of.
And we need to show, like, queer characters being happy.
Yes.
Getting a happy ending. And
yes.
Because, like, I said this before, it's like, being gay, especially on television, is almost like, your penance for it is to, like, almost be destroyed, really. Mm-hmm. Like, a great tragedy.
That's the thing, though. They've looked at it and determined that the vast majority of times when a gay character dies, they die because they were the one who introduced gayness to somebody else.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that is their punishment, because they spread the disease.
Oh, I personally rub my grubby queer hands on everything.
I know, right?
I mean, I do not care if I make straight people uncomfortable, because I'm uncomfortable 24/7. Welcome to my stratosphere.
Well, I was going to say, they're uncomfortable around one gay person. Imagine when you're the only gay person, always.
Well, I think another thing is that they're uncomfortable around us for existing. We're uncomfortable around them because we're afraid they might kill us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a very... I can't... Hold on.
That wasn't too loud.
Move your fingers over here to make it sound like I'm snapping. Oh, yes. Okay. We did it. All right. Okay. Can we cut out the part where I was like, move your fingers over here? I mean, it's not 3D audio. But I think...
Well, also, like... Do you snap for yourself when you say something?
See, I snap.
I do.
I snap weird. I snap like this.
Doesn't make a sound though.
No, wait, listen. I think that's my bone shattering.
It's your muscles working really hard.
It's my muscles being like, take us away
We're
from
not
him.
meant to this. We're not meant for this.
How do y'all snap? How does it go? Okay, wait.
Yeah, middle finger?
Middle finger to thumb So index, okay.
They kind of like cross over.
Yeah.
I think my fingers are too fat. This is thin privilege.
No, they are not.
Well, I also...
Okay.
It's gonna be 5 minutes of just snapping.
No, just for now, we'll cut out.
No, leave it in.
No, I'm going to have it as a separate clip.
Okay, well...
Charlie's snap lesson.
Well, learn from home.
Actually, snap, like the whole thing about the bend and snap that we were talking about earlier, actually brought to mind the fact that the first Legally Blonde movie, had that in it.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. You can go back, rewatch it, really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, oh my gosh, how did I not know at the time just how offensive that was?
I do not recall. I remember the first one, she was like, did you get a perm and shower? Doesn't make sense.
The second one is the one that has the dog who's gay.
Oh, I think I remember.
And there are off-color jokes about people in the community, and I had one day where I wasn't feeling great, so I watched the first one, and I go, okay, well, I'm still not feeling great, but I'm feeling a little better. Let's watch the second one. As I'm watching through it, I'm just looking at it aghast that this was accepted by somebody and put into print, shown anywhere, because no.
Well, they might have thought it was different because it's dogs. I read something very...
But it wasn't like it was just the dogs who were treated that way, too.
Oh.
Just the remarks made in general about gay people, and I think there were comments made in there that were offensive to basically all parts of the community.
Right.
So...
I read something interesting that is 100% true. People care more about misgendering dogs than they do about people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is 100% truth, tea, and trauma, okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You say, oh, what a cute little girl dog. It's a boy. Oh,
or even babies.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they just throw something pink on it, like dunk it in paint or something, whatever straight people do.
That's not what you do with babies. If you're looking to get a babysitting job, don't dunk them in paint.
Okay, well, it's worked out great for me. I've only had to move twice.
With your many children.
With my, oh yes, like I said, I've only had to move twice.
I'm just saying, but you know where to put them in a rotisserie oven. That keeps them warm and everything.
Okay, first of all, I was talking about dunking the baby in pink paint, so straight people are gonna be like, is it a boy or a girl? And we're like, you know what it is, Barbara. But you're like,
it's a baby, Barbara.
But you're like, cook the children.
I mean, I'm an atheist. We eat babies.
Oh my god, we're getting really.
Have you seen The Most Hated Woman in America?
I have not.
I look in the mirror every day.
It's good. No, watch it. It's about the woman who gets prayer out of public schools. It's really good. It's on Netflix. Just watch it.
I dig it. I mean, I am a Christian. Like, when I say I'm a good Christian woman, I'm not. I'm, like, kind of joking, because I'm kind of making a satire of it. But, like...
Because you're like, I obey all of the stuff as much as I can. I just don't think they like me.
No, it's not even that. It's just, like, I feel... Like, I was raised a Christian, but, like, I'm a Christian. I love God, not the church. I think the church has been twisted into something sick. And I don't go to church. I still consider myself a good Christian, but anyway, I just wanted to get that out there, because I know another thing, too, is, like, being in the gay community and feeling like you can't be Christian, or, like, God doesn't love you and stuff, and I'm like, hunty.
Or just religious in general, you know?
Yeah.
I agree.
There's actually a section on the Outright Youth website all about how to deal with religion and...
Wait, I saw that. There was a link that, it's on the Outright CV website. It said, does God hate me? And it's a little link, and I didn't click it because I'm at peace with it, but if you are younger and you're wondering...
Or if you're older and still wondering.
Yeah, check it out, yeah. I do tend to do that, like, as a general statement, but, I mean, there are lots of people out there who haven't been exposed to the things that we have, and haven't been in a safe environment, and even if you're exposed to all those things, coming out isn't exactly the best option. And another thing in media, too, is, like, it's kind of like the zenith of a character to come out as gay.
Right.
When really that's just a small part of who we are and what we do.
And that's not always possible, right? Your safety and having a home is much more important.
Yeah.
Plus, they have a lot of, a character comes out one time, and if you're queer, you experience coming out again.
Every single day.
Every day. Every person you meet.
Like we talked about earlier, we don't know if this person is gay, so to get, like, close to someone is to, you have to come out. Like, I come out, like, almost immediately if I'm, like, vibing with someone.
Right.
Because I don't want it to, like, be a thing and then later have it end.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
all right, well, are you guys ready to play Would You Rather?
Okay. Would you rather be a deep sea diver or an astronaut?
Oh.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
I'm going to go with deep sea diver because I already know how to do that, and sharks are amazing.
Okay, that requires some backstory, Kim. You're like, oh, me? Oh, the deep sea is my friend.
I am going to say an astronaut because those pictures of animals, or fish, that live in the dark scare the absolute out of me.
There was silence there for those at home who were like, what happened to my broadcast? She was censoring herself,
But, I mean, have you seen them? You know, the fish with, like, the little lantern?
Not in person,
that, like,
no.
I don't want to.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
She got real close to me. She touched me. She three-dimensional and stuff.
All right, well, how about you?
Yes,
astronaut or deep sea diver?
Well, on one hand, the ocean is full of free dogs, aka sharks, as you said.
Free dogs.
You know, I'm a quirky
Dogs
person.
are much better.
First of all, I spent all of last night, Holly, while very intoxicated, watching videos of people petting sand sharks, and they keep coming back. Did you know lemon sharks will fight away other sharks and be like, this is my human, to, like, get attention? Because I did not.
I had a Caribbean reef shark swim through my hair. It was amazing!
That's, what kind of Little Mermaid? I don't know. That's dangerous.
I did my senior research project in high school on shark feeding. So, I got to go down to the Bahamas for research.
I'm from West Virginia. Like, we didn't have a senior high school project. We were just like, please leave.
This was here in Hickory, North Carolina that I went to school. I went to Ford.
And she was like, oh, I just took a small voyage to the Bahamas and the reef sharks and such.
I worked with Christina Zanato. She is one of the foremost knowledgeable people about sharks.
Oh.
So, if you've ever seen one of those shots of somebody who has, like, an asleep shark that they're kind of, like, holding and petting, it was probably her.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
But, I mean, yeah, there's some stuff at the bottom of the ocean, but there's probably, like, crabs. You know, I like crabs.
Eels are kind of weird.
Well, I think that's a general blanket statement, and we should avoid those in the future,
Kim. They also taste very bad.
Oh.
I know a lot of people who like minagi. My wife is one of them.
See, I don't like eel.
I don't eat
like in sushi. The texture.
I don't eat seafood at all in any capacity. Not river fish, not seafood, not any kind of shellfish.
The only fish that I don't like is salmon. There's just something about it.
Really?
They can't be trusted.
I don't like carp and like, you know.
I like basically everything.
I don't even like.
I like how we're turning this into like, I don't know, what are you feeling after? I don't really like salmon. Well, I mean, if I'm in a submarine, it's just me and a little round pod.
There you go, Italian sub. That's what you're thinking.
You know what? I'm going to close this. All right, we're closing this discussion before I can be attacked and viciously assaulted anymore.
You and your Italian submarine going down into the ocean.
I prefer a yellow.
With an Italian man.
You know what? I prefer a yellow. We're done here. Okay. So, in conclusion, a critique on all of media could be gayer.
Could be a lot gayer. Could be more queer.
Could be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
make America queer again.
Yes.
Yeah, make America gay again,
One
please.
of the things we're going to talk about next time is the umbrella term for the community.
Ooh. Yeah, that's really interesting because I want to discuss, like, because I guess to be more specific, I'm non-binary, but to my knowledge, I fall under the trans umbrella, meaning you don't belong in either spectrum. Yeah. But that is something we will discuss next week. And we will have Kiki's, Boots the House Down work, all that good stuff. Ooh. And
lock the doors.
Oh, tight. I'm going to let you have it. Let's have a Kiki. No, we should not.
Is this a song?
Yes.
What do you think, Holly? You're just like, wow, gay people really do sing. That's wild. I love Zac Efron. Yeah. You know. Anyway. All right. So I think we're going to wrap it up because this is a pretty long episode. You are welcome, by the way, these gifts that we have given to you.
Right.
We haven't been getting a lot of feedback, which, to be perfectly honest, is kind of a bummer for us.
Yeah.
We definitely... This podcast is fueled entirely by your feedback. Well, not entirely. It's also...
Okay. Right now, it's fueled solely by our love.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's only so much love that you can give if it's not returned.
Right.
Take that as a note for the future. bring it with you, absorb it into your relationships. If you're the only one giving the love and you're not getting any in return, just leave.
Yeah, leave us a comment below. Tell us how much you like us. Share it, dang it. I mean, but for real, we want to hear from you. Please message us if you want to be involved in this, and it is a lot of fun. I mean, we've had a lot of fun this evening. I mean, the board of directors do most of the work, so you'll probably be on easy street. So if you want to get in contact with us, you just let us know, and we will
come in and talk. That's all you have to do. If you have an idea for a topic that you want us to cover, that's great. If you want more information about the center,
I mean, we have a Facebook. You can message us. I will be on the Outright Center Youth page comments below. Yeah. Please feel free to talk to me. I'm very lonely. But
we are here to give you support for whatever you need.
And if there's a topic that you want to hear us tackle, let us know. We won't know until we know. And you don't have to do it on Facebook. You can just... Sorry, there's a stranger at the window. Oh, jeez. She's coming from outside the house, like most...
It's my wife saying, let's go get food.
We should just, have a cold cut end on me screaming. Just it's a gay person! Oh, no! Anyway, we're gonna head out, because we're probably gonna get something to eat. I might get an Italian sub, and then put McDonald's fries on it. You know what? I'm feeling decadent
Creative.
Tonight. Yes, it's, again, gay art. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But seriously, go check out Studio Bev. They're on July 10th at the Salt Block. Find more information where we post.
Alrighty, and again, it has been a pleasure speaking with you ladies tonight, and we very much look forward to seeing you in the next episode. So, see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Kiss, snap. Oh, wait, snap, chat. How about that?
I love how you just said snap instead of actually doing it.
I can't snap. This has been established. We're leaving, okay? Ready? Okay? Good night. Love you. Snap. Bye.